My parents didn't contribute less to my wedding. They contributed nothing. The text came at 9:14 p.m. Dad's number. Mom's words. Your sister needs the wedding venue deposit. We're wiring $120,000 tomorrow. You've always been independent. You'll figure yours out. 27 words that priced their daughters? $120,000 versus zero. 6 months later, I stood at my courthouse ceremony, $847 total cost. Dress from Macy's clearance rack. 2 witnesses borrowed from my fiancé's office. That morning, I'd created a wedding budget comparison spreadsheet. I printed 2 copies on ivory cardstock. I didn't mail them. My cousin did one to every family member who'd attended my sister's crystal-draped reception. The math was simple. $120,000 for her dream versus $0 for mine. Dad's retirement fund saw the withdrawal. Everyone saw the choice. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This story doesn't start with a wedding. It starts with an engagement ring, and a pattern I'd spent 27 years pretending not to see. The ring was simple. White gold band, single diamond, half a carat. I'd saved for 8 months to buy it, tucking away $200 from each paycheck into a separate savings account Jenna didn't know about. Every time we passed a jewelry store, she'd linger at the window just long enough for me to memorize which styles made her pause. She never pointed, never hinted. That wasn't Jenna's way. But I noticed. The proposal happened on a Tuesday in September. Lakefront Park, 7 o'clock sunset turning the water copper and gold. I'd told her we were celebrating my promotion to marketing director. Technically true. The promotion had come through 3 weeks earlier with a $12,000 raise that finally made the ring feel possible instead of reckless. Jenna Rodriguez, I said, kneeling on the grass with my heart trying to break through my rib cage. I can't promise you a fairy tale wedding or a house with a white picket fence tomorrow, but I can promise you every tomorrow I have. Will you marry me? She cried, said yes, kissed me hard enough that an elderly couple walking their dog applauded. I felt like I'd won the lottery. That feeling lasted exactly 16 hours. I called my parents the next morning from my apartment kitchen, phone on speaker, while Jenna made coffee and kept flashing her left hand at different angles to watch the diamond catch the light. Mom answered on the third ring. Cassandra, it's early. Mom, hi. I have news. I tried to match Jenna's excitement, inject it into my voice. Jenna and I are engaged. I proposed last night. She said yes. Silence. Long enough that I checked the screen to make sure the call hadn't dropped. Mom? That's nice, dear. Her tone was the same one she used when I told her about getting a new dentist or finishing a book. Flat. Polite. Distracted. Have you told your sister yet? The question hit like a slap. No, I said slowly. I called you first. I thought, well, you should tell Vanessa. She'll want to know. I'm actually at her place right now. We're looking at wedding venues. My coffee cup stopped halfway to my mouth. Wedding venues? Didn't I mention? Vanessa got engaged last month. Derek proposed in Paris. He rented out an entire restaurant on the Seine. Very romantic. We've been touring venues every weekend. The Ashford estate has an opening next fall, but the deposit alone is, well, never mind. You know your father and I will handle it. I looked at Jenna. She'd gone still, coffee pot suspended in midair, reading my face. Vanessa got engaged last month, I repeated. And you're already touring venues. Of course. These places book up years in advance, Cassandra. You have to move quickly. Although I suppose for your situation. She paused delicately. Well, there are lovely alternatives. Outdoor ceremonies can be quite charming. Budget-friendly. Budget-friendly. Right, I said. Well, congratulations to Vanessa. I'll tell her you called. She'll be thrilled. We need to run, the venue coordinator is waiting. Talk soon, sweetheart. She hung up before I could respond. Jenna set the coffee pot down carefully, crossed the kitchen, wrapped her arms around me from behind and pressed her forehead between my shoulder blades. Your mom's always like that, she said quietly. You've told me. I've never heard it in real time before. Yeah, my voice came out flat. She's always like that. The ring on Jenna's finger pressed against my collarbone. I focused on that, instead of the hollow feeling spreading through my chest. The same hollow feeling I'd been filling with excuses for 27 years. She's busy. She's stressed. She doesn't mean it like that. Except she did mean it like that. She always had. Vanessa's engagement party happened 3 weeks later. Saturday afternoon. My parents' house. 75 guests. I knew about the party because I received an invitation in the mail. Formal cardstock. Calligraphy addressing. My name spelled correctly for once, usually. Mom wrote Cassie on birthday cards, even though I'd been going by Cass since high school. The invitation listed a gift registry. Jenna and I stood in my parents' backyard under white string lights and watched Mom flutter between guests, introducing Vanessa and Derek, showing off the engagement ring 3 carats, emerald cut, platinum setting. I'd looked it up online after Vanessa posted 17 Instagram photos. $38,000. That's Linda Mitchell. I heard Mom tell a cluster of her book club friends. Well, my youngest daughter, she's getting married. Can you believe it? My baby. Vanessa was 29, 2 years younger than me, but Mom had a habit of forgetting I existed until Vanessa needed a comparison point. Dad manned the grill, flipping steaks and accepting congratulations like he'd personally orchestrated Derek's proposal. When he saw me, he nodded once, gripped my shoulder briefly. Good to see you, Cass. Grab a plate. That was it. No questions about my engagement. No acknowledgement that I'd texted him the news. Nothing. Jenna squeezed my hand. We can leave whenever you want. 30 minutes, I murmured. Then we go. But Vanessa found us first. She looked perfect. She always looked perfect. Blonde highlights professionally done. Sundress that probably cost more than my monthly car payment. Engagement ring catching the sunlight like a searchlight. Cass! She air-kissed near my cheek. I heard you got engaged too. That's so sweet. When's the date? We haven't set one yet. Oh, she tilted her head sympathetically. Well, take your time. No rush. Derek and I are thinking next October fall foliage, you know? The Ashford estate has this incredible ballroom with crystal chandeliers. Mom and Dad are paying for everything. Thank God, because the venue deposit alone was $8,000. She said it casually, twisted the ring on her finger. 8,000, I repeated. I know, right? But it's worth it. This is my one wedding. I want it perfect. She smiled at Jenna. I'm sure you understand. Jenna's smile didn't reach her eyes. Completely. Vanessa's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, brightened. Oh, Derek's here. I have to go. We're taking everyone to see the venue after this. You two should come. We can't, I said. We have plans. We didn't have plans, but I couldn't watch my parents tour a venue they'd already agreed to fund while they'd called my engagement nice. Vanessa shrugged. Next time, love you. She floated away. Mom materialized at her side immediately, linking arms, whispering something that made Vanessa laugh. I watched them. My mother and my sister, golden child and devoted audience. Jenna tugged my hand. 30 minutes are up. We left through the side gate. No one noticed. That night, lying in bed, Jenna asked the question she'd been holding back. Do you want a big wedding? I stared at the ceiling. I want them to care. I know. I want them to ask about venues, or colors, or literally anything. My throat felt tight. I want one phone call where my mom doesn't mention Vanessa. One conversation where my dad looks me in the eye. I stopped, because I'd spent 27 years wanting impossible things from people who'd shown me exactly who they were. Jenna rolled toward me. We'll have the wedding we want. Not the wedding they ignore. Courthouse, I suggested. Courthouse, she agreed, and we'll make it beautiful anyway. I believed her. I didn't believe my parents would prove us right 6 months later. with a text message that turned 27 words into a price tag on their daughters. But that was still coming. The pattern started before I could remember it starting. My earliest memory of being less than was my 8th birthday party. Chuck E. Cheese, 12 kids, a cake shaped like a butterfly. I'd asked for purple frosting. Mom ordered pink because little girls like pink. I didn't argue. I was 8. I ate the pink cake and smiled for photos and pretended the knot in my stomach was excitement instead of the first conscious recognition that what I wanted didn't matter as much as what they decided I should want. Vanessa's 8th birthday party happened at a rented roller rink. 30 kids, a DJ, gift bags with personalized keychains. She'd asked for a unicorn cake and got a 3-tier fondant masterpiece with an edible horn that cost, according to Mom's phone call I'd overheard, $280. My butterfly cake had cost $34. I knew because the Costco sticker was still on the box when Mom brought it in from the car. That was the year I learned math didn't lie even when parents did. Robert and Linda Mitchell, Dad and Mom. Dad was an architect, successful, made good money designing commercial buildings and upscale residential properties. Mom sold real estate in the expensive neighborhood's Lakeview properties, historic homes, estates with acreage. They weren't wealthy, but they were comfortable. Comfortable enough to fund Vanessa's wants while explaining away my needs. The pattern intensified in high school. Freshman year, I needed a graphing calculator for advanced algebra, $80. Dad said we'd wait and see if the class really required it. I borrowed one from the teacher all semester. Sophomore year, Vanessa wanted to attend a summer arts program in Santa Fe. $3,000 for 2 weeks. Mom said it was an investment in her creative development. Vanessa went. Came back with a portfolio and stories about other rich kids. Junior year, I made the debate team. Needed money for tournament travel fees and professional clothes. We'll reimburse you, Dad said. I worked weekends at a grocery store to cover the costs. Never got reimbursed. Senior year, Vanessa's prom dress cost $450, custom alterations. Professional makeup artist for the dance. My prom dress came from Target, $67. I did my own makeup from a YouTube tutorial. I told myself it didn't matter. Prom was one night, college was the goal. College clarified everything. I got into Boston University. Good school, great marketing program, total cost after scholarships, $32,000 per year. We had the talk at the kitchen table the week after my acceptance letter arrived. Dad with his laptop open to financial calculators. Mom with her arms crossed, already looking exhausted by the conversation. We can't pay for all of it, Dad said, not unkindly, just factually. We can contribute maybe $5,000 a year. You'll need to take loans for the rest. $5,000 out of $32,000. Okay, I said. Because what else could I say? I'll apply for more scholarships. Work study. I'll figure it out. Mom patted my hand. You've always been so independent, Cassandra. That's a good quality. Independent was parent speak for we're not helping. I took out student loans, $62,000 over 4 years. I worked 20 hours a week at the campus bookstore and 15 hours a week at a coffee shop downtown. I survived on ramen and library air conditioning and the kind of exhaustion that makes you forget what being rested feels like. Vanessa went to State University. Decent school, 15 minutes from my parents' house. Total cost after scholarships, $18,000 per year. My parents paid the full amount. All 4 years, every semester. Tuition, housing, meal plan, textbooks. I found out junior year when Vanessa posted a graduation countdown on Instagram with a caption thanking Mom and Dad for making my college experience debt-free. Debt-free. I'd called Mom that night, tried to keep my voice level. You paid for Vanessa's college? Of course we did. She sounded confused by the question. She's our daughter. I'm your daughter. Yes, and you're managing beautifully with your loans. See, you didn't need our help. The logic was circular, airtight. Impossible to argue without sounding jealous, so I stopped trying. I graduated with honors, $62,000 in debt, a marketing degree, a job offer at a mid-size firm starting at $54,000 per year. Vanessa graduated with a 3.2 gigapascals, zero debt, a pharmaceutical sales position starting at $68,000 because Dad's golfing buddy worked at the company and put in a word. Mom threw Vanessa a graduation party, backyard barbecue, 100 guests, cake from the expensive bakery, gift table, overflowing with envelopes and boxes. I got a card with a $50 Visa gift card inside. The printed message said, "Congratulations, graduate," with a generic stock photo of a cap and gown. Mom had signed it, "Love Mom and Dad," in blue pen. The pattern held through my 20s. 23. I needed my wisdom teeth removed. Emergency extraction. No dental insurance yet at my new job. The surgery cost $2,000. I asked Dad for a loan. "Money's tight right now, Cass. Can it wait?" It couldn't wait. I put it on a credit card, paid it off over 18 months at 19% interest. That same year, Vanessa's car broke down. Transmission failure. Dad bought her a new Honda Civic, $22,000. "She needs reliable transportation," Mom explained when I asked. "You understand." 25. Vanessa bought her first condo. Down payment gift from our parents, $25,000. I was still renting a one-bedroom apartment with a leaky faucet and neighbors who fought at 2 a.m. 27. I got promoted to marketing director. 54,000 to 66,000. Not huge, but significant. I'd worked 4 years for it. Earned it. I called to tell them. Dad said, "Good for you." Then, "Did you hear Vanessa's getting promoted to senior sales rep? Company car and everything." Mom didn't call back for 3 days. When she did, she spent 40 minutes talking about Vanessa's new boyfriend, Derek. I stopped expecting different. That was the secret to surviving my family. Expect nothing. Then the nothing doesn't surprise you. But engagement was supposed to be different. Engagement meant you'd found your person, built a life despite the odds, achieved something real. I'd believed stupidly, desperately, that my parents might care about that. The morning Vanessa announced her engagement. I was at work reviewing a campaign proposal when my phone buzzed. Group text. Family thread. "Vanessa, engaged. Derek proposed in Paris. Photos coming soon. Can't believe I get to marry my best friend." 3 photos. The Eiffel Tower at sunset. Derek on one knee. Vanessa crying with her hand over her mouth. Diamond ring glinting in the French twilight. Mom, "Oh, sweetheart, we're so happy for you. Dad and I always knew Derek was the one. Call us as soon as possible. We need to start planning." Dad, "Congratulations, kiddo. Welcome to the family, Derek. Let's celebrate this weekend." I stared at my phone. Waited for someone to acknowledge that I'd told them about my engagement 2 weeks earlier. The thread filled with congratulations from aunts and uncles and cousins. 37 messages in 15 minutes. No one mentioned me. I texted separately. Private message to Mom. "Me, congrats to Vanessa. That's exciting. Just a reminder that Jenna and I also got engaged recently. Would love to celebrate together." 3 hours later. "Mom, of course, honey. We'll do something small for you too soon. Vanessa's news is just so exciting, you understand. Paris, can you imagine?" I could imagine. I could imagine that my lakefront proposal with a saved-for ring and a heartfelt speech wasn't exciting enough to compete with the Eiffel Tower. I could imagine that something small meant nothing at all. Jenna found me in the office bathroom 20 minutes later, sitting on the floor with my phone in my lap, and tears I refused to let fall burning behind my eyes. "They forgot?" she asked quietly. "They didn't forget." I looked up at her. "They just don't care." She sat down next to me, tile floor cold through our work pants, her shoulder pressed against mine. "We're going to have a beautiful wedding," she said, "with or without them." I wanted to believe her. I did believe her. I just didn't know yet how literally true without them would become. The text arrived at 9:14 p.m. on a Thursday in March. Jenna and I were on the couch. She was grading papers, middle school English, red pen moving across essays about To Kill a Mockingbird. I was scrolling through courthouse wedding requirements on my laptop. Marriage license, 2 witnesses, appointment availability. My phone lit up on the coffee table. Dad, but I'd learn later, it was Mom using his phone. Cassandra, your sister needs the venue deposit for the Ashford estate. We're wiring $120,000 tomorrow to secure her October date. The venue requires full payment up front, but we've decided to cover the entire wedding cost so Vanessa can have her dream day. We know you've always been independent and capable of handling things on your own. You'll figure out your wedding. You always do. Congratulations again on your engagement. Mom. I read it 3 times. Jenna looked over. What's wrong? I handed her the phone. Watched her face change as she read. Watched the muscle in her jaw tighten. Watched her grip on the phone turn her knuckles white. $120,000. Her voice was very quiet, very controlled. They're giving Vanessa $120,000. For the venue deposit, I said. My voice sounded distant, like it belonged to someone else. Full payment up front. And they told you to figure out your own wedding. I've always been independent. I was quoting my mother. The words tasted like metal. Jenna set the phone down carefully, like it might explode. Call them. Jenna. Call them right now. My hands were shaking when I dialed. Mom answered on the second ring. I could hear Vanessa laughing in the background. Cassandra, did you get our message? Mom. I fought to keep my voice steady. You're giving Vanessa $120,000. For her wedding, yes. The Ashford estate is very exclusive. They require, and you're giving me nothing. Silence. Then a sigh. The kind of sigh that said I was being difficult. Sweetheart, you and Jenna are both working professionals. You make good money. Vanessa's still getting established in her career. She needs our help more than you do. Vanessa made $68,000 a year. More than I did. Plus her company car. Plus her condo down payment that I hadn't gotten. I have $62,000 in student loans, I said. Loans I took because you couldn't help with college. Loans Vanessa doesn't have because you paid for her. That was different. How? Cassandra. Mom's voice sharpened. Your sister is having a traditional church wedding, a real celebration. That costs money. You're doing a courthouse thing. That's your choice. A courthouse thing. We're doing a courthouse wedding because we can't afford anything else. And that's fine, it's practical, very you. She said it like a compliment. Vanessa's always dreamed of a big wedding. White dress, hundreds of guests, the whole experience. We want to give her that. You've always been more low-key. Low-key meant unfunded. Mom, it's not about the courthouse. It's about… I really need to go, honey. The venue coordinator is sending over contracts. I'm so glad you understand. You've always been so mature about these things. Love you. She hung up. I sat there. Phone still pressed to my ear. Dial tone buzzing. Jenna was crying, not sobbing, just silent tears sliding down her face while she stared at me. She said you'd understand, Jenna whispered. Yeah. She said you've always been mature about these things. Yeah. Cass, Jenna's voice cracked. They just told you you're worth $0 while your sister is worth $120,000. I set the phone down. 27 words. That's all it took to quantify parental love. You've always been independent and capable of handling things on your own. You'll figure out your wedding. Translation. You're not worth the investment. Jenna moved to the couch, wrapped her arms around me. I leaned into her and felt nothing. Numbness where anger should have been. Emptiness where hurt should have lived. I'd spent 27 years preparing for this moment without knowing it. Every skipped birthday party. Every unfunded need. Every time Vanessa got the thing I'd been denied. This was just the largest number yet. We're still getting married, I said into Jenna's shoulder. I know. Courthouse, $800, no parents. I know. And I'm done. Jenna pulled back, looked at me. Done? Pretending. The word felt clean. Sharp. I'm done pretending they're going to change. Done pretending it doesn't matter. Done accepting nothing and calling it independence. What are you going to do? I didn't know yet. But 3 hours later, lying awake while Jenna slept, I heard it. Dad's voice. Talking on the phone. I'd gotten up for water and his study light was on. Door cracked open. Retirement withdrawal cleared today, he was saying. Tell the venue coordinator we'll have the full 120,000 wired by Friday. Yes, the whole amount. We refinanced last year, so we have the liquidity. This is our daughter's wedding. We're not cutting corners. Retirement withdrawal. Refinanced. I stood in the hallway, glass of water forgotten in my hand. They'd told me for years that money was tight, that they couldn't help, that I needed to be independent because resources were limited. But they'd refinanced the house, pulled money from retirement, had liquidity. For Vanessa's wedding. I walked back to the bedroom, sat on the edge of the bed in the dark. Jenna's voice came softly from the pillow. Can't sleep? They refinanced, I said. Dad just told the venue coordinator. They refinanced the house, pulled retirement funds. For Vanessa. Jenna sat up. They what? They have the money. They've always had money. They just chose not to spend it on me. The numbness cracked. Underneath it was something cold and clear and sharp enough to cut. Not anger. Not hurt. Clarity. For 27 years, I'd believed their excuses, accepted their explanations, told myself they were doing their best. But they'd refinanced a house to fund Vanessa's dream wedding while telling me I was too independent to need their help. That wasn't inability. That was choice. And I was done accepting their choices silently. I need to know, I said. How much they have. How much they've spent. The real numbers. Jenna reached for her phone, turned on the lamp, looked at me with something fierce and protective in her eyes. Then we find out. We didn't sleep that night. We started digging instead. And what we found was so much worse than $120,000. I couldn't stop hearing it. The retirement withdrawal cleared today. Dad's voice through the cracked study door. Casual. Matter of fact. Like pulling money from retirement to fund a wedding was normal. Maybe it was normal. For Vanessa. But they'd told me for a decade that they couldn't help because money was tight. I sat at my desk Friday morning pretending to review a client presentation while the words looped through my mind. Retirement withdrawal. Refinanced. Liquidity. We're not cutting corners. My desk phone rang. I let it go to voicemail. They refinanced the house. When? How much? If they had that kind of money, why had Dad said no when I'd asked for a $2,000 loan for my wisdom teeth extraction? Why had I paid 19% interest on a credit card for 18 months while they sat on refinance money? Cass? My coworker Jordan leaned over the cubicle wall. Client meeting in 5. Right, yeah, thanks. I grabbed my laptop, walked to the conference room, gave a presentation about Q2 marketing strategies, while my brain solved a different problem entirely. The math didn't work. Architects made good money. Real estate agents in expensive markets made good money. My parents had paid off their house years ago. Mom had mentioned it at a holiday dinner, bragged about being mortgage-free. So why refinance? And why, after years of telling me they couldn't afford to help, could they suddenly wire $120,000 for a venue deposit? The meeting ended at 11. I walked back to my desk and opened a browser tab. Typed. County Property Records Public Search. Found the county assessor website. Entered my parents' address. The page loaded. Property details. Purchase date. Tax assessment. Ownership history. Mortgage information. Refinanced 8 months ago. I clicked the link. Loan amount. $240,000. I stared at the screen. Their house was worth maybe $380,000. They'd owned it for 23 years. Mortgage-free, Mom had said. But 8 months ago, right around when Vanessa had started dating Derek, seriously, they'd taken out a $240,000 loan against a paid-off house. That wasn't normal refinancing. That was a cash-out refinance. I knew because I'd researched them when Jenna and I talked about buying property someday. You pulled equity out of your house and got cash, usually for home improvements, or investment opportunities, or funding your youngest daughter's wedding. My hands were shaking. I minimized the browser, stared at my desk calendar, tried to breathe normally. 8 months ago. I pulled out my phone, scrolled back through my text history with Mom. Found it. July 14th, me. Hey Mom, my car needs new brakes. Mechanic quoted $800. Any chance you could loan me half? I'll pay you back by September. July 15th. Mom, sorry honey, money's really tight right now. Can you put it on your credit card? Or maybe wait until your next paycheck? I'd put it on my credit card. The refinance had closed July 2nd. They'd had $240,000 in cash and told me they couldn't loan me $400. I left work early, told Jordan I had a headache, not a lie. Jenna was home when I arrived half-day Fridays for teacher planning. She was at the kitchen table with her laptop and a stack of essays. But she looked up when I walked in and immediately closed the computer. What happened? They refinanced. I dropped my bag, pulled out my phone, showed her the county records. 8 months ago, $240,000 cash out refinance. Jenna took the phone. Read the screen. Her face went very still. When did Vanessa start dating Derek? Last spring. April, maybe? And when did they refinance? July. Jenna looked up. They refinanced the house 3 months after Vanessa started dating someone seriously. Before there was even an engagement. Jesus. Jenna set the phone down carefully. Cass, that's not normal. I know. They planned this. They planned to fund her wedding before Derek even proposed. The words settled into my chest like stones. Planned. Not a spontaneous gift. Not a generous impulse when Vanessa got engaged. A calculated financial decision made months in advance. Before Paris. Before the ring. Before any of it was real. They'd known they were going to give Vanessa a $250,000 wedding. And they'd told me money was tight. I need to see their bank account, I said quietly. Jenna blinked. What? I'm still authorized. From college. I'd been added to my parents' joint checking account my freshman year emergency access, they'd said. In case something happened and I needed to pay bills. They'd never removed me. I haven't looked at it in years. But I still have login access. Cass. Jenna's voice was careful. Are you sure you want to see it? No. I met her eyes. But I need to. She nodded slowly. I opened my laptop. The Bank of America homepage loaded. I clicked Sign In. Username. I tried my dad's email. Wrong. Tried my mom's. Wrong. Then I remembered. The account was under both names. Joint access. The username was just R.L. Mitchell, Robert and Linda. Password. I'd set it up years ago with Dad on the phone. He'd wanted something he'd remember. I typed. Vanessa 2018, Vanessa's graduation year. Invalid password. I tried. Cass and Vanessa. Invalid. Of course. I tried. Vanessa 1996, her birth year. The page loaded. Account overview. Checking and savings. My stomach turned over. Jenna leaned closer. Oh my God. The checking account balance. $47,382. Savings. $83,219. I clicked. Transaction history. The list loaded. Months of transactions scrolling down the screen. March 18th. Wire transfer. $120,000. Ashford Estate venue. My vision blurred. There it was. The exact amount from the text message. The venue deposit that had shattered my engagement joy. But I kept scrolling. February 8th. Transfer, $6,000. Devine Photography LLC. January 24th. Transfer, $8,500. Blush Bridal Boutique. January 3rd. Transfer, $4,200. Bella Catering Deposit. December 19th. Transfer, $12,000. Dreams Come True Honeymoon Package. I stopped breathing. Jenna's hand found mine. "Keep going," she whispered. I scrolled further back. November 11th. Transfer, $3,800. Magnolia Florists. October 22nd. Transfer, $5,100. Classic Strings Orchestra Deposit. September 30th. Transfer, $2,900. Paper and ink invitations. Every month. Multiple transfers. All labeled with Vanessa's wedding vendors. I opened the spreadsheet app on my laptop, started a new sheet, typed the header, Vanessa's wedding, actual spending, listed every transaction, added them up. $172,500. Before the venue deposit. After the venue deposit, $292,500. Nearly $300,000. In 6 months. And the account still had over $130,000 left. Cass! Jenna's voice was shaking. "Look at the savings account." I clicked over. The balance? $83,219. Recent transaction. August 2nd, deposit. $240,000. Home equity line of credit. The refinance money, deposited 8 months ago. Withdrawals since then, $237,281. Almost all of it, gone. To Vanessa's wedding. I sat back. The apartment was silent except for the kitchen clock ticking. Jenna broke first. "They spent your inheritance." "It's not my inheritance. They're alive. You know what I mean." Her voice was hard. "That house was paid off. That was equity. That was supposed to be when they're gone. That's what gets split between you and Vanessa. And they just pulled it out and gave it all to her for one day. One day. One wedding. One party." I thought about my courthouse ceremony, the $847 we'd carefully budgeted, the clearance dress, the borrowed witnesses. I thought about 27 years of "money's tight," and "we can't afford it," and "you're so independent." "Check older transactions," Jenna said, "before the refinance." I scrolled back. A year, 2 years, 3. There. My college years. September 15th. Tuition payment. 2. State University. $18,000. Vanessa's freshman year. September 14th. 9. Tuition payment. State University. $18,000. Vanessa's sophomore year. September 16th. Never never. Tuition payment. Never never. State University. $18,000. Vanessa's junior year. September 20th. Tuition payment. State University. $18,000. Vanessa's senior year. Total. $72,000. My tuition payments. $0. I'd taken $62,000 in student loans because they couldn't afford to help. They'd afforded Vanessa just fine. I kept scrolling. Found more. June 3rd. Down payment assistance. SKBO. Vanessa Mitchell, $25,000. Her condo. December 24th. HT19. Honda Financial Services. Contem. $22,000. Her car. April 12th. Medical bill payment. Advanced dermatology. $3,400. Her cosmetic procedures. Probably. Every major expense I'd ever paid for myself, they'd covered for her. I created a second spreadsheet tab. Lifetime spending comparison. Cass versus Vanessa. Started filling it in. Vanessa's column grew and grew and grew. Cass's column stayed mostly empty. By the time I finished, it was dark outside. Jenna had made tea neither of us drank. The final numbers sat on my screen. Total spent on Vanessa, documented, $434,900. Total spent on Cass, documented, $8,300. $8,300. Over 27 years. Birthday gifts, Christmas presents, the graduation gift card. That was it. Vanessa got $434,000. I got $8,000. The ratio was incomprehensible. This is abuse, Jenna said quietly. Financial abuse. They didn't steal from me. Yes, they did. She turned my laptop toward her, pointed at the numbers. They stole your childhood, your college education, your security. Every time they told you they couldn't help while giving her everything, that's theft. That's stealing your peace of mind and your self-worth and your belief that you mattered. I couldn't argue. Because she was right. I'm calling the attorney, I said. Jenna nodded. Good. I picked up my phone. Searched. Family Law Attorney Boston. Found Patricia Chen's office. 5-star reviews. Specializes in inheritance disputes and family financial matters. I called. A receptionist answered. Law offices of Patricia Chen. I need a consultation, I said, about financial favoritism, and I need it soon. The appointment was Tuesday afternoon. I took a half day from work. Told my boss I had a legal consultation. He didn't ask questions. Jenna met me at the law office, sleek building downtown, 16th floor. Patricia Chen's name on frosted glass doors. The receptionist led us to a conference room. Leather chairs, windows overlooking the harbor. I felt underdressed. Patricia Chen entered 5 minutes later. Mid-40s, sharp suit, kind eyes. She shook our hands firmly. Cassandra Mitchell? Cass, please. Jenna Rodriguez, Jenna added. Cass's fiancée. Pleased to meet you both. You mentioned financial favoritism on the phone. Tell me what's going on. I opened my laptop, pulled up both spreadsheets. Started talking. Told her about the engagement text. The $120,000 venue deposit. The overheard phone call about the retirement withdrawal. Showed her the property records, the refinance documents, the $240,000 cash out. Pulled up the bank statements, transaction by transaction. The lifetime comparison spreadsheet. Patricia listened without interrupting, took notes on a legal pad. When I finished, she sat back. That's one of the most extreme cases of financial favoritism I've seen in 20 years of practice. Something in my chest loosened. So it's real, I said. This isn't normal family dynamics? Not even close. Patricia leaned forward. Let me be clear about the legal reality. Your parents are alive and legally entitled to spend their money however they choose. You have no claim to their assets while they're living. Even inheritance isn't guaranteed unless specified in a will. My stomach sank. However, Patricia's tone sharpened. Several things concern me here. First, the refinance. They pulled equity from a house that was paid off equity that would typically pass to heirs. They're essentially spending your future inheritance while you're alive to watch. Is that illegal? No, but it's relevant for estate planning. If they pass away and their estate is significantly diminished, you'd have grounds to contest asset distribution based on this documented pattern of unequal gifting. Jenna spoke up. What about the bank account? Cass is still an authorized user. Can she be seeing this? She's legally authorized. The account holder never removed her access. So yes, she can access it, and anything she sees is admissible as evidence should an estate dispute arise. Patricia looked at me. Did you access it with fraudulent intent? No, I just wanted to know the truth. Then you're fine. She made another note. Here's what I recommend. Document everything. Bank statements, property records, any written communication where they promised financial help or claimed inability to assist, text messages, emails, everything. For what purpose? Two reasons. First, if and when estate distribution occurs, this pattern matters. Massachusetts is an equitable distribution state. If their estate is contested, a judge can consider lifetime gifts when dividing remaining assets. And second, Patricia's expression softened slightly. Because knowledge is power. You can't claim your parents treated you equally when you have spreadsheets proving they spent $400,000 on your sister and $8,000 on you. That truth has value, even if it's not immediately legal value. I thought about the wedding reception coming in October, the Ashford estate. 287 guests. All of them watching Vanessa get married on our parents' $292,500 investment. What if I exposed it publicly? I asked. At the wedding. What if I showed people the receipts? Patricia didn't blink. Legally, you can't be sued for sharing true information. If you have documented proof bank statements, property records, truthful spreadsheets, truth is an absolute defense against defamation claims. That said, I can't advise you to do it. The fallout would be significant. I don't care about the fallout. You might later. Or I might care more about not carrying their shame anymore. Patricia studied me for a long moment. Then she nodded. If you decide to go that route, I'd be happy to review your documentation first. Make sure everything is airtight. No misrepresented facts. No accusations you can't prove. How much would that cost? Consultation rate is $300 an hour. Reviewing documents and ensuring legal protection call it 4 to 6 hours of work, so $1,200 to $1,800. I could afford that, barely. I'll think about it. We stood, shook hands again. As we reached the door, Patricia spoke once more. Cassandra, one more thing. I turned. Your parents made a choice, a deliberate, sustained choice over decades. That wasn't about your worthiness. That was about their character. She paused. Don't let their math define your value. My throat tightened. Thank you, I managed. Outside, Jenna and I stood on the sidewalk. Spring afternoon, people walking past in business casual, the world continuing like nothing had changed. Except everything had changed. Are you really going to do it? Jenna asked. Expose them at the wedding? I don't know yet. If you do, I'm with you. I looked at her. You could pretend you don't know me. Save yourself the drama. She took my hand, squeezed hard. We're getting married in 2 months. Your drama is my drama. Your truth is my truth. And your parents' bullshit is our shared enemy. I almost laughed. Almost cried. I need more evidence, I said. The bank statements are good, but I need everything. The whole picture. Every lie. Every choice. I need it all documented so they can't deny it. Then, we keep digging. We walked to the car. I pulled out my phone, opened my contacts, found Cousin Riley, sent a text. Me. Hey, can we talk? It's about my parents and Vanessa's wedding. I think you might have noticed some things over the years. 3 dots appeared immediately. Riley. Oh, honey, I've noticed a lot of things. Call me tonight. I have stories. I showed Jenna the screen. She grinned. Now we're getting somewhere. Riley called at 8 p.m. I answered on the first ring, put it on speaker so Jenna could hear. Cass. Holy shit. Finally. Riley's voice was warm, familiar, furious. I've been waiting for you to wake up for like a decade. Wake up to what? How badly your parents treat you compared to Vanessa. It's been fucking obvious since we were kids. I sat down at the kitchen table, opened my laptop, created a new document titled Family Testimony. Tell me, I said. Riley didn't need more encouragement. Okay. First memory. Your 10th birthday party. Remember? Chuck E. Cheese, pink cake. Right. But did you know your mom almost canceled it entirely? My mom, your aunt, literally had to talk Linda into doing something for you because she was too busy planning Vanessa's dance recital costume. I typed it in the document. dated it, approximately. Vanessa's recital wasn't even a big deal, Riley continued. But Linda spent like 3 weeks finding the perfect costume. Custom made. Spent hours at seamstress appointments. Meanwhile, you got a last-minute party at Chuck E. Cheese because Aunt Diane guilted her into it. I didn't know that. You weren't supposed to. Linda's good at appearances. Riley's voice hardened. Next one. Your high school graduation. Your parents showed up 40 minutes late. Remember? I did remember. I'd stood outside the auditorium afterward, holding my diploma, watching other families take photos while mine hadn't arrived yet. They said they got stuck in traffic. They got stuck at Vanessa's award ceremony at her school, Riley said flatly. It ran long. They chose to stay for the whole thing instead of leaving early to make your graduation on time. My mom was there. She heard Linda tell someone, Cassandra will understand. She's always been so flexible. Flexible? Another word for unimportant. I added it to the document. What else? I asked. Riley had a list. She'd been watching for years. Attending family gatherings. Noticing patterns. Your 21st birthday, Riley said. Your parents took you to dinner at Applebee's, split the bill with you. You paid for your own birthday meal. I remember. Vanessa's 21st birthday was at that expensive steakhouse downtown. The one with the $100 per person tasting menu. Your parents paid for Vanessa, Derek, and 8 of their friends. Total bill was like $1,200. I know because Linda bragged about it to my mom. I added it to the timeline. Age 21. Cass. Split bill at Applebee's. $40 total. Vanessa. $1,200 steakhouse party for 10 people. When you got promoted to marketing director, Riley continued, you called to tell them, right? Yeah. Dad said good for you, and then talked about Vanessa's promotion. Right. But did you know your dad wrote a recommendation letter for Vanessa's promotion? Called his golfing buddy who works at her company. Specifically requested she get moved up. She didn't earn that promotion, your dad handed it to her. My hands stilled on the keyboard. How do you know that? I overheard him tell my dad at Christmas. Robert was drunk, bragging about helping Vanessa get ahead. Said you didn't need help because you were self-sufficient. Self-sufficient, independent, flexible. All the words they use to excuse their neglect. There's more, Riley said. Last year. Thanksgiving. You weren't there because you had to work, remember? Yeah. Retail marketing campaign deadline. Linda told everyone you chose work over family. Made it sound like you didn't care about Thanksgiving. But then she spent 20 minutes showing off photos of Vanessa's new condo, the one they'd gifted her a $25,000 down payment for. No mention that you were working to pay rent on an apartment because you didn't get down payment help. I remembered that Thanksgiving. I'd worked from home, eaten grocery store, turkey, and felt guilty for missing family time. They'd framed my absence as a character flaw. Riley, I said carefully. How long have you been keeping track? Silence. Then, since high school, maybe earlier. It was so blatant, Cass. Everyone saw it. No one knew how to tell you, or if we should tell you. Your parents are good at making it seem normal. Who's everyone? Aunt Diane, Uncle Mark, my parents, Grandma, half the cousins. Riley's voice softened. We've all talked about it, how badly they treat you, how much they favor Vanessa. Grandma threatened to cut them out of her will over it once, but Linda smoothed it over. I felt lightheaded. My extended family had known. For years. And said nothing. Why didn't anyone tell me? Because, Riley sighed, because it's your parents, Cass. How do you tell someone their parents don't love them equally? We kept hoping you'd see it yourself, or that they'd change, or that it wasn't as bad as it looked. It's worse, I said. I have the bank statements. What? I told her. The refinance. The $240,000. The $292,500 spent on Vanessa's wedding. The lifetime comparison spreadsheet showing $434,900 versus $8,300. Riley was silent for a long moment. Then, holy fucking shit. Yeah. Cass. That's not favoritism. I don't even have a word for it. Financial abuse, Jenna said from across the table. That's the word. Who's that? Jenna, my fiancé. Oh, right. The one your parents are giving $0 for your wedding while dropping 300 grand on Vanessa's. That's the one. Riley made a disgusted sound. Okay. New plan. What do you need from me? Testimony, I said. Witnesses. If I'm going to expose this publicly, I need people who will back me up, who've seen the pattern. You're going public? Maybe. Probably. I don't know yet. I rubbed my eyes. I'm still deciding. But if I do at Vanessa's wedding, or whenever I need ammunition, I need proof it's not just my perception. You've got it, Riley said immediately. I'll talk to Aunt Diane and Uncle Mark. Get written statements if you want. Hell, I'll stand up at the wedding and testify myself. Something loosened in my chest. You'd do that? Cass, I've watched them erase you for 2 decades. If you're finally ready to make them see you, I'm ready to hand you the microphone. Jenna reached across the table, squeezed my hand. Thank you, I whispered. Don't thank me yet. This is going to get ugly. I know. Your parents will lose their shit. Vanessa will lose her shit. Half the family might take their side. I know. You could lose relationships you can't get back. I know. I looked at my laptop, at the timeline, at the numbers. But I'll lose myself if I stay silent. Riley was quiet. Then, okay, I'm in. What's the plan? I need to finish documenting everything, get legal clearance from the attorney, and then… I paused. Then I decide if I'm brave enough to do it. You're brave enough. You've survived them this long. Exposing them is just the next step. We talked for another hour. Riley gave me more examples, more dates, more proof. By the time we hung up, my timeline document was 12 pages long. Jenna read over my shoulder. This is damning, she said quietly. It's the truth. Your parents are going to hate you for this. I looked at her. They already don't love me. What's the difference? She didn't have an answer. That night, I lay awake in bed while Jenna slept beside me. Thought about the wedding. October, the Ashford estate. 287 guests watching Vanessa marry Derek in a $292,500 celebration. My parents hosting, smiling, accepting congratulations for their generosity. While I sat in the back with my courthouse marriage certificate and my $847 dress and my $62,000 in student loans. Invisible. Erased. Worth nothing. Unless I made myself worth seeing. I picked up my phone, opened the Notes app. Started writing. Speech draft. Vanessa's wedding. I'd like to share what sacrificing everything actually means in this family. My parents spent $292,500 on Vanessa's wedding. They spent $0 on mine. The words looked stark on the screen. True. Undeniable. I kept writing. By the time I finished, dawn was breaking through the bedroom curtains. Jenna stirred, opened her eyes, saw me awake with my phone. You wrote it, she said. Not a question. I wrote it. Are you going to do it? I looked at the speech, at the numbers, at the truth I'd carried in silence for 27 years. Yeah, I said. I think I am. I waited until Saturday to show Jenna the full speech. We were at our apartment. Morning light through the kitchen windows. Coffee going cold in our mugs while my laptop sat between us on the table. The speech was 2 pages, single-spaced, every word chosen carefully. Read it out loud, Jenna said, like you're actually giving it. My hands shook slightly as I picked up the laptop. Okay. I cleared my throat, started reading. I'd like to share what sacrificing everything actually means in this family. My parents spent $292,500 on Vanessa's wedding. They spent $0 on mine. For the past 18 months, I've watched them lie about financial struggles while transferring six figures to my sister. They refinanced their house $240,000, cash out timed exactly with Vanessa's engagement. They told me they couldn't afford $2,000 for my emergency dental surgery. The same week they paid $6,000 for her catering deposit. I married the love of my life last month in a courthouse. Total cost, $847. My mother texted me that morning calling it my little courthouse thing before Vanessa's real wedding. I consulted an attorney. While they're legally entitled to spend their money however they choose, I'm legally entitled to expose the truth. Cousin Riley is distributing evidence packets now. Bank transfers, property records, text messages. You'll see every transfer $138,000 before the $120,000 final wire. I didn't come here to ruin Vanessa's day. I came here because I'm done being invisible while you spend my inheritance on her fairy tale. Congratulations on your $292,500 wedding, Vanessa. I hope it was worth our relationship. I stopped reading, set the laptop down. Jenna stared at me. She paused. That's nuclear. Too much? No, she shook her head. It's perfect. It's factual. It's devastating. But Cass, you need to be ready for what comes after. I know. Your parents will never forgive you. They never loved me equally anyway. Vanessa will destroy you on social media. Let her try. I have receipts. Jenna reached across the table, took both my hands. I need to know you're sure, she said quietly. Once you do this, you can't take it back. Your family will fracture, permanently. Some people will take their side. You'll lose relationships. I met her eyes. I've already lost the relationship that mattered, I said. My parents chose Vanessa 27 years ago. I'm just finally acknowledging it publicly. Okay? Jenna squeezed my hands. Then I'm with you, all the way. Even if it gets ugly? Especially if it gets ugly. I exhaled slowly. I need to talk to Riley. Get those witness statements. Make sure the evidence packets are airtight. And you need to talk to Patricia Chen again. Have her review everything. Make sure you're legally protected. Yeah. Jenna stood, walked around the table, pulled me into a hug. I pressed my face against her shoulder and felt the weight of the decision settle into my bones. This was really happening. I was going to stand up at my sister's $292,500 wedding and tell 287 guests exactly what my parents had spent on each of their daughters. I was going to make them see me, even if it destroyed everything. I called Riley that afternoon. She answered immediately. Tell me you're doing it. I'm doing it. Thank God. What do you need? Witness statements, I said. Written testimony from family members who've seen the pattern. Dates. Examples. Anything that corroborates my timeline. I'm already on it. I talked to Aunt Diane and Uncle Mark this morning. They're both willing to write statements. So is Grandma. Grandma? Oh, yeah. She's pissed. Apparently she's been watching your parents favor Vanessa for decades, and she's done staying quiet about it. Riley paused. She wants to talk to you directly. Can I give her your number? Of course. Good. She's scary when she's angry. Your parents should be terrified. Riley's tone shifted. I'm also creating the evidence packets. I have access to a good printer at work. What do you want included? I pulled up my laptop, opened the folder I'd been building. Bank statement screenshots showing the wedding transfers. The lifetime spending comparison spreadsheet. The property records showing the refinance. The text message where Mom called my wedding a little courthouse thing. And the timeline document with all the favoritism examples. Got it. How many packets? 15. One for each table. Riley, are you sure you want to be involved? This is going to blow up. Cass. I've watched them erase you since we were kids. If you're finally ready to make some noise, I'm ready to hand out the proof." She paused. "Besides, someone needs to have your back. Your parents sure as hell don't." My throat tightened. "Thank you. Don't thank me yet. We have work to do." That evening, my phone rang. Unknown number. Local area code. I answered. "Hello? Cassandra?" The voice was elderly, familiar. "It's Grandma." "Grandma, hi. Riley tells me you're planning to expose your parents at Vanessa's wedding." I hesitated. "Yes." "Good." Her voice was firm, sharp. "It's about damn time someone called them out." I blinked. "You're not mad?" "Mad? Sweetheart, I'm furious. But not at you." Grandma sighed. "I've watched Linda and Robert treat you like an afterthought for 30 years. I've said something privately, multiple times. They don't listen. Maybe public humiliation will get through. It might destroy the family." "The family's already broken, honey. You're just pointing out the cracks." She paused. "I'm writing you a statement. Riley's going to include it in your evidence packets. And I'm sitting at your table during the reception." "What?" "You heard me. I'm sitting with you and Jenna, not with Linda and Robert. I'm making my choice clear." Something in my chest cracked open. "Grandma, you're my granddaughter. You deserved better. And if they can't see that, then I'll make sure everyone else does." Her voice softened slightly. "You're not alone in this, Cassandra. Remember that." I couldn't speak. "I'll email you my statement tonight," Grandma continued. "Give them hell, sweetheart." She hung up. I sat there, phone still pressed to my ear. Jenna appeared in the doorway. Who was that? "Grandma." I looked up. "She's sitting with us at the wedding. She's writing a witness statement. She told me to give them hell." Jenna's face broke into a smile. "I like your grandma." "Yeah." I set the phone down. "Me too." Riley's email arrived at midnight. Subject line: Evidence packets, draft. I opened it. 15 pages. Perfectly formatted. Every document I'd requested, plus 3 witness statements. Statement 1. Diane Morrison, aunt. "I've witnessed systemic favoritism toward Vanessa Mitchell for over 20 years. Examples include Linda canceling Cass's 10th birthday party planning to focus on Vanessa's dance costume. Robert and Linda arriving 40 minutes late to Cass's high school graduation because they stayed for Vanessa's award ceremony. Linda publicly criticizing Cass's career choices while praising Vanessa's identical choices. The financial disparity is extreme and deliberate." Statement 2. Mark Mitchell, uncle. "Robert has explicitly told me he considers Cass self-sufficient and therefore not requiring parental investment, while Vanessa needs support. This framing is used to justify unequal financial treatment. At Christmas 2023, Robert bragged about securing Vanessa's job promotion through personal connections, while dismissing Cass's self-earned promotion as expected. The bias is undeniable." Statement 3. Margaret Chen, grandmother. "I raised Linda to treat her children equally. She has failed. I've watched Cassandra be overlooked, underfunded, and emotionally neglected while Vanessa receives every advantage. I've confronted Linda multiple times. She dismisses my concerns. This pattern is not accidental. It's a choice. And it's wrong." I read them twice. 3 family members willing to put their names on record, willing to fracture family peace to validate my truth. I wasn't imagining it. I wasn't being dramatic. I wasn't asking for too much. The evidence was overwhelming. I hit reply. "Me. Perfect. Print 15 copies. I'll pay you back for printing costs. And Riley, thank you." Her response came immediately. "Riley, your family. Real family. The kind that shows up. Don't worry about printing costs. Consider it my wedding gift. The gift of truth." I closed the laptop. Looked at Jenna, who'd been reading over my shoulder. "We're really doing this," I said. "We're really doing this," she confirmed. Patricia Chen next. Legal review. Make sure I can't be sued. Monday morning? Monday morning. Patricia Chen's office. Tuesday afternoon. 2 p.m. I'd called Monday morning and told the receptionist I needed an urgent follow-up consultation. They'd squeezed me in. Jenna came with me again. Moral support, witness, partner. Patricia met us in the same conference room. Leather chairs, harbor view, legal pads ready. You've made a decision, she said. Not a question. I'm exposing them, I said. At Vanessa's wedding, October 12th. The Ashford Estate. 287 guests. I need you to review my speech and evidence packets. Make sure I'm legally protected. Patricia nodded slowly. Show me what you have. I opened my laptop. Pulled up the speech, the evidence packet draft, the witness statements. Slid the laptop across the table. Patricia read in silence. 5 minutes. 10. 15. Finally, she looked up. This is airtight. Relief flooded through me. I can't be sued? Let me be clear. Patricia folded her hands. Can they attempt to sue you? Yes. Anyone can file a lawsuit. But would they win? Absolutely not. Here's why. She pulled out a legal pad. Started listing. First, truth is an absolute defense against defamation. Every number in your speech is verifiable. Bank statements, property records, text messages. You're not lying. You're not exaggerating. You're stating documented facts. I nodded. Second, you're not making defamatory claims about their character. You're not calling them criminals. You're describing their spending choices using their own financial records. That's not defamation. That's disclosure. What about privacy? Bank accounts you're legally authorized to access aren't private from you. Property records are public. Text messages sent to you are yours to share. Patricia paused. The only gray area is sharing their financial information publicly, but even that's protected because you're not doing it for commercial gain. You're doing it to expose harmful family dynamics. Courts protect that speech. Jenna leaned forward. What about emotional distress claims? Could they say Cass caused them emotional harm? They could try. They'd lose. Emotional distress requires intentional infliction of severe emotional harm through outrageous conduct. Telling the truth about your parents' spending at a family event doesn't meet that bar. Especially when the truth itself reveals their harmful conduct toward you. Patricia looked at me directly. Cassandra, if you do this, your parents will be publicly humiliated. They'll probably threaten legal action. They might even consult an attorney. But any lawyer worth their degree will tell them the same thing I'm telling you. The truth is not actionable. So I'm protected. Legally? Yes. Emotionally? That's different. Patricia's expression softened. This will destroy your relationship with your parents, possibly permanently. Are you prepared for that? They destroyed our relationship when they chose Vanessa over me for 3 decades, I said quietly. I'm just making it official. Patricia studied me. Then nodded. Okay, let me make some notes on your speech. Tighten a few phrases. Remove anything that could be construed as opinion rather than fact. You'll be even more protected. She spent 20 minutes editing, crossed out 3 sentences, adjusted phrasing on 4 others. When she finished, she slid the laptop back. Read the changes. I did. She'd removed emotional language. I'm done being invisible became, I'm addressing a documented pattern. Her fairy tale became her wedding celebration. The speech was colder, more clinical, somehow more powerful. Better? Patricia asked. Better, I confirmed. Good. Now let's talk about the immediate aftermath. Patricia pulled out a fresh page. When you give this speech, several things will happen. Your parents will likely ask you to leave. Security might get involved. Guests will film it. The video will probably go viral locally. Are you prepared? Yes. Do you have a plan for leaving safely? I hadn't thought about that. Jenna spoke up. We'll park near an exit. Leave immediately after the speech. Not engage if they try to stop us. Patricia nodded approvingly. Smart. Also document everything that happens afterward. Any threatening messages. Any attempts to contact you. If they violate your boundaries, that's harassment. You'll want records. I'm already planning to go no contact after this, I said. Good. Send them a formal no contact letter. Certified mail. Keep the receipt. If they continue contacting you after that, you have grounds for a restraining order if needed. The room felt very cold suddenly. Restraining order. Against my parents. This was really the path I was choosing. One more thing, Patricia's voice gentled. You're going to second-guess yourself, probably multiple times between now and October. You'll wonder if you're overreacting, if you should just let it go, if exposing them is worth it. And the answer is in your documents. 400,000 spent on Vanessa. 8,000 spent on you. That's not a gray area. That's not interpretation. That's math. She paused. You deserve to be seen. This is you making yourself visible. My throat closed up. Thank you, I managed. You're going to be okay, Cassandra. This will hurt, but you're going to be okay. We left the office 40 minutes later. Stood on the sidewalk, spring turning to summer, June heat rising off the pavement. Jenna took my hand. How are you feeling? Terrified. Good. That means it matters. I looked at her. You're really okay with this? The fallout's going to touch you too. Cass. She turned to face me fully. We're getting married. Your family is my family. Your fight is my fight. And honestly, she smiled grimly, I've been waiting for someone to call your parents out for years. I'm glad it's you. I'm glad I get to watch. I kissed her. Right there on the sidewalk. Downtown Boston. People walking past. When we pulled apart, she was grinning. Let's go print some evidence packets, she said. Let's burn it all down, I replied. The next 2 months were preparation. June melted into July. July burned into August. August cooled toward September. I worked during the day, marketing campaigns, client presentations, performance reviews, normal life continuing while I built a case against my own parents in the evenings. Riley and I communicated almost daily. Evidence packets finalized. 15 copies printed on heavy cardstock, bound with black clips. Professional, undeniable. Each packet contained 2-page summary of lifetime spending disparity, $434,900 versus $8,300. 10 pages of bank statement screenshots showing Vanessa's wedding transfers. Property records proving the $240,000. Refinance. Timeline of favoritism examples with dates and witnesses. 3 family witness statements. The text message screenshot. You're on your own. You'll figure it out. Riley stored them at her apartment. Kept them hidden. Would bring them to the wedding in an unmarked box. They look like legal documents, she told me over video call. Very official. Your parents are going to shit themselves. Good. Grandma called me twice more before the wedding. Once in July to tell me she'd updated her will. Just so you know, Robert and Linda are no longer executors. You and Riley are. After they've spent your inheritance on Vanessa's party, I'm making sure what's left gets divided fairly. Once in August, to ask what I was wearing to the wedding. Something simple, I'd said. I'm not trying to upstage Vanessa. Grandma had laughed. Honey, you're about to detonate their perfect day. You've already upstaged her. My courthouse wedding happened in early August. Thursday afternoon. Municipal building. Judge Morrison presiding. Total cost, $847. Marriage license, $76. Judge fee, $150. My dress, $284. Macy's clearance, simple navy sheath. Jenna's dress, $198. Same clearance rack. Flowers, $89. Grocery store bouquets, white roses. Lunch celebration, $50 Italian restaurant. just the two of us. Our witnesses, Marcus and Claire, Jenna's co-workers. They'd volunteered when they heard we needed people. The ceremony lasted 14 minutes. Judge Morrison had kind eyes. He spoke about commitment and partnership and building a life together through choice, not obligation. When he said, "You may kiss," I kissed Jenna like we were the only two people in the world. Because in that moment, we were. Afterward, we went to lunch. Cheap pasta, good wine. Marcus and Claire toasted us with sparkling water. "To real love," Marcus said. "The kind you build yourself." We clinked glasses. I didn't cry until later, at home. Looking at our marriage certificate. Jenna found me on the couch, certificate in my lap, tears streaming silently. "Hey." She sat next to me. "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong." I wiped my eyes. This was perfect. Today was perfect. But my parents didn't even ask when we were doing it. The words came out broken. I got married and they didn't care enough to ask the date. They don't even know I'm legally married right now. Jenna pulled me against her. Their loss. I know. We had a beautiful wedding. Simple and real and ours. I know. And in 2 months, you're going to stand in front of everyone and show them exactly what they missed. I nodded against her shoulder. The crying stopped. The determination returned. September arrived. The wedding was October 12th, 6 weeks away. I received my invitation in the mail. Formal. Engraved. My name spelled correctly for once. Mr. and Mrs. Robert Mitchell. Request the honor of your presence. At the marriage of their daughter, Vanessa Marie Mitchell. 2. Derek James Patterson. Saturday, October 12th. The Ashford Estate. Ceremony. 4 p.m. Reception to follow. The invitation was thick, expensive, probably cost $15 per invite. There were 287 guests invited. That was $4,305 on invitations alone. I added it to the spreadsheet. Updated total, $296,805. I RSVP'd yes for 2. Cass Mitchell and Jenna Rodriguez. Mom called 2 days later. "Cassandra, so glad you can make it. I wasn't sure you'd come." "Of course I'm coming. She's my sister." "Well, you've seemed distant lately, not answering my calls as much." Mom's tone was light, casual, like she hadn't noticed I'd been pulling away deliberately. "I've been busy with work." "Of course." "Well, Vanessa's so excited. The wedding is going to be beautiful. We've spared no expense." I noticed. Everything has to be perfect. This is her special day. Her special day. Not our daughter's special day. Vanessa's special day. "I'm sure it'll be memorable," I said carefully. "Oh, it will be. The venue is stunning. Wait until you see the ballroom. Crystal chandeliers, white roses everywhere, live orchestra. It's like a fairy tale. A $296,805 fairy tale." "Sounds amazing, Mom." "You should have told us you wanted a big wedding, sweetheart. We would have helped." The lie was so casual, so smooth. "You told me I was on my own," I said quietly. "What?" "Your text. In March. You're on your own. You'll figure it out. Remember?" Silence. Then, "Cassandra, that's not what I meant." "It's exactly what you meant. But it's fine. I did figure it out. Jenna and I got married in August. Courthouse. $847. You didn't ask about it, so I didn't mention it." More silence. "You're already married?" "Yes." "And you didn't tell us?" "You didn't ask." Mom's voice tightened. "That's not fair, Cassandra. We've been so busy with Vanessa's wedding planning. You know how stressful this has been." "I'm sure." "If you'd told us you were getting married, we would have..." "Would have what, Mom? Given me $0 instead of being surprised by $0? Cassandra, I have to go." Work call. "See you at the wedding." I hung up. Jenna looked up from her laptop. That sounded fun. She didn't know we were married. Didn't ask. And then acted hurt that I didn't tell her. Classic Linda. 6 more weeks, I said. And then everyone knows. October approached like an execution date. I finalized the speech, practiced it 17 times, memorized every word. Riley confirmed the evidence packets were ready. Aunt Diane and Uncle Mark confirmed they'd be sitting at our table. Grandma sent a text. Wear red. Make them look at you. I bought a red dress. Fitted. Elegant. Impossible to ignore. The night before the wedding, I couldn't sleep. Lay in bed next to Jenna. Stared at the ceiling. Thought about everything that was about to happen. You can still back out, Jenna whispered in the darkness. No one would blame you. I'd blame me. Okay. I need to do this. I know. I need them to see what they did. They will. I turned toward her. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm making a big deal out of nothing? Jenna reached for her phone. Opened my spreadsheet. Showed me the screen. $434,000. $900 versus $8,000. $300. Does that look like nothing? She asked. No. Then you're not wrong. I closed my eyes. Tomorrow changes everything. Good. Everything needed changing. We fell asleep holding hands. The next morning, I woke up and put on the red dress. It was time to be seen. The morning of October 12th started with coffee and silence. Jenna and I sat at the kitchen table. The red dress hung on the bedroom door. The speech was printed on ivory cardstock, folded in my clutch purse. Last chance, Jenna said quietly. I'm doing it. Okay. She reached across the table, took my hand. Then let's review the plan one more time. I nodded. We'd been over it a dozen times, but repetition made it real. We arrive at 3:45, I said. 15 minutes before the ceremony starts. We park near the south, exit the one closest to the reception hall. Check. We sit in the back during the ceremony. Don't draw attention. We're just guests. Check. Reception starts at 5. We sit at our assigned table with Riley, Grandma, Aunt Diane, and Uncle Mark. We eat dinner. We wait. 4. For the toasts. After Dad's speech and the best man's speech, there's an open mic moment. Share your wishes for the happy couple. That's when I go up. Jenna squeezed my hand. And Riley? Riley distributes the evidence packets while I'm speaking. 1 packet per table. 15 tables total. She starts from the back and works forward so people near the front don't see her until I'm already talking. And after the speech, we leave immediately. We don't engage. We don't explain. We walk out the south exit, get in the car, and drive away. What if they try to stop you? They won't have time. The speech is 3 minutes. By the time anyone processes what's happening, we'll be gone. Jenna studied my face. You're ready. I'm terrified. That's not mutually exclusive. I laughed. It sounded shaky. What if I freeze? I asked. What if I get up there and can't say it? You will say it. You've been silent for 27 years. You're done being quiet. What if no one believes me? Riley's handing them proof while you speak. Math doesn't lie. What if... Jenna cut me off, leaned forward, looked me directly in the eyes. Cass, you are about to do the bravest thing you've ever done. You're going to stand in front of everyone who's watched your parents erase you, and you're going to make them see you. They're going to see the numbers. They're going to see the truth, and they're going to know exactly who your parents are. My throat tightened. I'm burning every bridge. You're burning bridges that were already rotted through. Your parents burned them first. You're just lighting the match. I nodded slowly. She was right. This wasn't destruction. This was exposure. At 2 p.m., I started getting ready. Shower. Hair dried straight. Minimal makeup. I didn't want to look like I was trying too hard. The red dress fit perfectly. Knee length. Sleeveless. Elegant but not flashy. Grandma had texted that morning. Wear red. Make them look at you. I looked at myself in the mirror. Red dress. Gold earrings, black heels. I looked like someone who had her life together. I looked like someone who couldn't be ignored. Jenna appeared behind me. Navy dress, silver jewelry, steady hands on my shoulders. "You look powerful," she said. "I feel like I'm going to throw up." Also valid. I turned around. Faced her. "Thank you," I said. "For standing with me. For believing me. For not telling me I'm overreacting." "You're not overreacting. You're finally reacting appropriately." She kissed my forehead. "Now let's go make some people very uncomfortable." We left the apartment at 3:30. Riley texted as we got in the car. "Riley. Evidence packets loaded in my trunk. Grandma's already at the venue, looking like she's ready to commit homicide. This is going to be legendary." Me. "See you soon." "Thank you for everything." Riley. "Thank me? You're about to become a family legend." "I'm just here for the front row seat." I put my phone away. Jenna drove. I sat in the passenger seat and watched Boston slide past the windows. Normal Saturday. People living normal lives. While I drove toward detonation. "You okay?" Jenna asked. "Ask me in 4 hours." Fair. We arrived at 3:43. The Ashford estate was exactly as obscene as I'd imagined. Stone mansion, manicured gardens, circular driveway with valet parking, white tents set up on the lawn, string lights already glowing even though it was still daylight. This was what $296,805 bought. Jenna bypassed the valet. "Parked in the south lot near the exit like we'd planned." "Ready?" she asked. I grabbed my clutch. Felt the weight of the printed speech inside. "Let's go." The ceremony was in the gardens. 287 white chairs arranged in rows, white rose petals scattered down the aisle, string quartet playing Pachelbel's canon. It looked like a Pinterest board come to life. Jenna and I found seats in the back row. Far left side. Easy exit access. Guests were still arriving. I recognized faces: aunts, uncles, cousins, family friends, Dad's law partners, Mom's real estate clients, Vanessa's college friends. Everyone dressed in pastels and summer elegance. I was the only person wearing red. People noticed. I felt eyes tracking me. Saw Mom's book club friends whispering. Watched distant cousins point discreetly. Good. Let them look. In 30 minutes, they'd have a reason to stare. Riley slid into the row behind us at 3:58. "You look like a hit woman," she whispered. "That's the goal. Evidence packets are in my car. I'll grab them during cocktail hour and stash them near the reception entrance. No one will see." "Perfect. Grandma's sitting in the third row. She waved at your parents when she came in." "Your dad looked like he'd seen a ghost." I glanced forward. There, third row, aisle seat Grandma, in a purple dress suit. Silver hair, perfectly styled. Sitting ramrod straight. She turned slightly, caught my eye, winked. I almost laughed. The ceremony started at 4 p.m. exactly. The string quartet shifted to Vivaldi. Everyone stood. Vanessa appeared at the end of the aisle. She looked beautiful. Of course she did. White dress custom Vera Wang. Probably $15,000 based on the detailing. Cathedral train, lace sleeves, crystal beading that caught the afternoon sun. Dad walked beside her, arm linked, smiling like he'd personally orchestrated her happiness. They walked down the aisle. I watched Mom in the front row. Watched her cry. Watched her press a handkerchief to her eyes. Proud mother of the bride. She hadn't asked about my wedding. Hadn't asked the date. Hadn't sent a card. But she was crying at Vanessa's ceremony like it was the most important day of her life. Maybe it was. Maybe Vanessa had always been the only daughter who mattered. The ceremony was 20 minutes. Standard vows. Poetry reading. Unity candle. The officiant spoke about love and commitment and building a future together. Derek looked nervous. Vanessa looked radiant. When the officiant said, "You may kiss the bride," everyone applauded. Vanessa and Derek walked back down the aisle. Married. Smiling. The reception would start in an hour. Cocktail hour first, then dinner, then toasts, then me. Cocktail hour was on the lawn. Past appetizers, open bar, jazz trio playing under a white tent. Jenna and I stayed on the edges, didn't mingle. Sipped water and watched. Vanessa held court near the fountain. Guests swarmed her. Compliments about the dress, the ceremony, the venue. She glowed under the attention. Mom and Dad stood nearby, accepting congratulations, talking about the planning process. I heard Mom tell someone, "We wanted to give Vanessa the wedding of her dreams. Cost didn't matter. She's our baby." Cost didn't matter. $296,805 didn't matter. But $2,000 for my dental surgery had been impossible. I felt Jenna's hand slip into mine. "Breathe," she murmured. I breathed. Riley appeared with 2 champagne flutes, handed one to each of us. "Dutch courage," she said. "You're going to need it." "Are the packets ready?" "In position." I stashed the box behind the gift table. No one's noticed. "Good. Your parents haven't looked at you once," Riley observed. "They're pretending you're not here." "They've been pretending I'm not here for 30 years. Riley's smile was sharp. "Not for much longer." At 5:15, the reception coordinator announced dinner. Guests moved into the ballroom. The Ashford Estates Grand Ballroom was stunning. Crystal chandeliers, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the gardens, tables dressed in white linens with gold charger plates. Centerpieces of white roses and hydrangeas that probably cost $300 each. 15 tables, approximately 19 guests per table. Head table at the front for the wedding party. Our table was in the back, corner position, perfect view of everything. I sat down. Jenna to my left, Riley to my right, Grandma across from me, Aunt Diane and Uncle Mark beside her. "Team Cass," Riley whispered. "Assembled and ready." Grandma raised her wine glass. "To truth-telling." We clinked glasses. The first course arrived. Salad. I couldn't eat. Second course, pasta. I pushed it around my plate. Main course, filet mignon. It tasted like cardboard. Jenna leaned close. "You don't have to eat. Just breathe." "I can't breathe." "Yes, you can. In through your nose, out through your mouth." I breathed. Around us, the reception hummed. Laughter. Conversation. Clinking glasses. Everyone was having a beautiful time at Vanessa's beautiful wedding funded by my parents' beautiful lie. At 6:30, the best man tapped a microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for toasts." The room quieted. Dad stood first, walked to the microphone, cleared his throat. "I'm not good with words," he started. Classic, Dad opening. "But I want to say how proud Linda and I are of Vanessa. Watching her grow into the woman she is today has been the greatest privilege of our lives." The greatest privilege. Not one of the greatest privileges. The greatest privilege. Singular. "We've sacrificed a lot to give our daughters the lives they deserve," Dad continued. "But seeing Vanessa this happy, marrying a man who loves her as much as Derek does, it makes every sacrifice worth it." Guests smiled, nodded, raised glasses. I felt Riley's hand grip mine under the table. "To Vanessa and Derek," Dad finished. "May your marriage be filled with all the love and support Linda and I have always given you." All the love and support. $434,900 of support for Vanessa. $8,300 for me. Everyone applauded. Dad sat down. Mom kissed his cheek. The best man stood next, gave a funny speech about Derek's college days. Then the wedding coordinator took the microphone. "We'd love to open the floor to anyone who wants to share wishes for the happy couple. If you have something to say, come on up." She smiled, gestured to the room. This was it. I stood. I walked to the microphone. Every step feels deliberate. Measured. The red dress moves with me. People notice. Conversations pause. Eyes track my movement. At the back of the room, I see Riley stand. She moves toward the gift table, retrieves a cardboard box, starts walking between tables. No one's watching her yet. They're watching me. I reach the microphone, adjust it slightly. The ballroom is silent now. 287 people waiting. I pull the ivory cardstock from my clutch. Unfold it. My hands are steady. I look up. Make eye contact with Mom, then Dad. They're frozen, confused. Vanessa looks annoyed. Who is this person interrupting my reception? I begin. I'd like to share what sacrificing everything actually means in this family. My voice is clear, loud. The microphone carries it perfectly. My parents spent $296,805 on Vanessa's wedding. Pause. Let the number land. They spent $0 on mine. Someone gasps. I don't look to see who. For the past 18 months, I've watched them transfer six figures to my sister while telling me money was tight. They refinanced their house $240,000 cash out the same month. Vanessa started dating Derek seriously. I see Riley now. She's placing packets on tables. White cardstock folders, one per table. People are picking them up, opening them. They told me they couldn't afford to loan me $2,000 for emergency dental surgery. That same week, they paid a $6,000 catering deposit for this wedding. Dad stands. Cassandra, that's enough. Sit down, Robert. Grandma's voice cuts through the room, sharp, commanding. Let her finish. Dad sits. I continue. I married my partner Jenna last month. Courthouse ceremony. Total cost, $847. My mother texted me that morning calling it my little courthouse thing before Vanessa's real wedding. I see Mom's face drain of color. Cousin Riley is distributing evidence packets right now. Bank statements, property records, text message screenshots. You can see every transfer, every lie, every choice they made. People are reading. I hear papers rustling, whispers starting. Over our lifetimes, my parents spent $434,900 on Vanessa. They spent $8,300 on me. The number hangs in the air. Impossible. Undeniable. They paid for her college. I took $62,000 in student loans. They bought her a car. I bought my own. They gave her a $25,000 down payment for her condo. I'm still renting. And they funded this. I gesture to the ballroom, the flowers, the crystal chandeliers, while telling me I was independent and should figure it out. Vanessa stands now. You're lying. You're jealous and you're lying. I look at her directly. I'm not lying. The evidence is in your hands. Riley has finished distributing. Every table has a packet. People are reading, comparing documents, doing the math. Dad's law partner sitting 3 tables away holds up a bank statement. Robert, this shows $120,000 wired to the Ashford estate. From your retirement account. Dad can't respond. I consulted an attorney, I say, voice steady. Patricia Chen, family law specialist. She confirmed. While my parents are legally entitled to spend their money however they choose, I'm legally entitled to expose the truth. Truth is an absolute defense. These aren't opinions. They're documented facts. Mom finds her voice. Cassandra, you're being dramatic. We've always treated you girls equally. Mom, I look at her. You spent $400,000 on Vanessa. $8,000 on me. That's not equal. That's not even close. Someone in the crowd, Aunt Diane, speaks up. Linda, I've watched you favor Vanessa for 20 years. Everyone has. Uncle Mark nods. You told me Cass was self-sufficient so she didn't need help. You used that excuse to justify everything. Grandma stands, turns to face Mom and Dad. I raised you better than this, Linda. I confronted you multiple times. You dismissed me every time. You told me I was imagining things. But the bank statements don't lie. The room is chaos now. Low conversations. People comparing evidence packets. looking between me and my parents. I see Mom's sister, Aunt Karen, holding a packet. Reading. Her face changes. She looks at Mom. Linda, you told me last year you couldn't loan me $5,000 because money was tight. But this shows you transferred $12,000 to Vanessa for her honeymoon that same month. Mom opens her mouth, closes it. No words come. Dad tries again. This is a private family matter. You made it public. I interrupt. You made it public every time you bragged about Vanessa's achievements while ignoring mine. Every time you funded her dreams while telling me to be independent. Every time you chose her and erased me. I fold the speech, put it back in my clutch. I didn't come here to ruin Vanessa's wedding. I came here because I'm done being invisible, while you spend my inheritance on her fairy tale. Vanessa is crying now, mascara running. Derek stands beside her, looking lost. Congratulations on your $296,805 wedding, Vanessa. I say. My voice softens slightly. Not cruel, just factual. I hope it was worth our relationship. I step away from the microphone. Turn to walk out. The room erupts. Voices overlap. People calling out. Parents shouting. Guests arguing. Cassandra, come back here right now. Mom's voice desperate. How could you do this at her wedding, Vanessa? Sobbing. She has every right. Grandma fierce. The numbers are right here. Someone holding up documents. I can't believe they... Another voice. I don't stop walking. Jenna appears at my side, takes my hand. We move toward the south exit. Riley catches up. That was fucking magnificent. Aunt Diane and Uncle Mark follow. We're leaving too. We're with you. Grandma brings up the rear. Best speech I've ever heard. We push through the ballroom doors, into the hallway, down the corridor. Behind us, the chaos continues. Voices raised. People demanding answers. The beautiful reception dissolving into confrontation. We reach the parking lot. The late afternoon sun is golden. The air is cool. I can still hear the noise from inside the ballroom. Muffled through stone walls but undeniably loud. We reach the car, all of us, Team Cass, standing in the parking lot while the world fractures inside. Riley starts laughing. Did you see your dad's face? Did you see your mom's? Jenna adds. Did you see half the room pulling out their phones to film? Aunt Diane grins. I lean against the car. My legs are shaking now, adrenaline crashing. Grandma puts her hand on my shoulder. You did good, sweetheart. I just destroyed my family. No. Her voice is firm. They destroyed your family 30 years ago. You just showed everyone the damage. My phone buzzes. Text from unknown number. Unknown. This is Derek's mom. I was at table 7. I read everything. What your parents did is unconscionable. I'm so sorry. You deserved better. Another text. Another unknown number. Unknown. Table 12 here. Everyone at our table is on your side. We're leaving. Another. Unknown. I'm your dad's law partner. Call me Monday. We need to talk about his loan application from last year. He lied about the purpose. Another. Unknown. Vanessa's bridesmaid. I had no idea. I'm so sorry. You were so brave. They keep coming. 10 texts. 15. 20. Strangers. Family. Friends. Distant relatives. Support. Validation. Apologies. Riley looks at her phone. It's already on Facebook. Someone posted the video. It's being shared. How many views? She refreshes. 42,000. In 6 minutes. I close my eyes. It's done. The truth is out. Everyone knows. We drive away. Leave the Ashford estate behind. Leave the crystal chandeliers and white roses and $296,805 fairy tale. Leave my parents standing in the ruins of their carefully constructed image. In the passenger seat, I watch the venue disappear in the side mirror. Jenna reaches over. Takes my hand. How do you feel? I think about it. 27 years of silence. 3 minutes of truth. Lighter. I say finally. I feel lighter. Good. My phone buzzes again. I ignore it. Whatever happens next, lawsuits, family fractures, social media storms, I'm ready. Because I'm not carrying their shame anymore. I gave it back. And they can do whatever they want with it. That night, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Text messages flooded in. Hundreds of them. Family members, dad's coworkers, mom's clients, people I hadn't spoken to in years, strangers who'd seen the video. Cousin Emma. I had no idea it was this bad. I'm so sorry. Dad's colleague. Robert lied to our firm about why he needed that loan. We're investigating. Mom's sister Karen. Linda told me you were exaggerating. But the bank statements don't lie. I'm done defending her. Unknown number. This is Derek. Vanessa is devastated, but I read the evidence. What your parents did is wrong. I'm sorry. Riley created a group chat. Named it Team Cass HQ. Added Jenna, Grandma, Aunt Diane, Uncle Mark, and 3 cousins who'd reached out with support. Riley. Video hit 1.8 million views. Local news is covering it generically. Wedding speech about financial favoritism goes viral. Your parents are screwed. Grandma. Good. They earned it. Aunt Diane. Linda called me 12 times. I'm not answering. She made her choices. The support was overwhelming. Validating. But also exhausting. By midnight, I turned my phone off, sat on the couch with Jenna in silence. How are you feeling? She asked quietly. Numb. Relieved. Terrified. I leaned against her. Like I just blew up my entire life. You blew up a lie. Your life is still here. She was right, but it didn't feel that way yet. Outside, the world was talking about me, sharing my story, judging my parents. Inside, I just felt empty. The weight I'd carried for 27 years was gone, but so was the family structure I'd spent my life trying to fit into. Freedom felt a lot like grief. The next 6 months were a controlled demolition. Mom tried to sue me for defamation 3 weeks after the wedding. Her attorney sent a cease and desist letter demanding I retract my false statements publicly and compensate the family for emotional distress and reputational damage. I forwarded it to Patricia Chen. She called me an hour later. I could hear the smile in her voice. This is the weakest legal threat I've seen in 15 years. Do not respond. If they actually file, we'll destroy them in court with the same documents you showed at the wedding. They never filed. 2 weeks later, Mom's attorney quietly withdrew, probably after reviewing the evidence and realizing truth is an absolute defense. Dad's law firm was less forgiving. His managing partner called him in for a meeting the Monday after the wedding. According to Uncle Mark, who heard it from another partner's wife, the conversation went badly. Dad had applied for a hardship loan from the firm 8 months earlier, claimed he needed $50,000 for emergency medical expenses. The firm had approved it out of compassion. But the property records showed he'd refinanced for $240,000 that same month. And the bank statements proved the firm loan went straight to Vanessa's wedding vendors. He'd lied, committed fraud against his own employer. The firm gave him a choice: retire early with a reduced pension or be terminated and face potential legal action. He retired. Lost his corner office, his $180,000 salary, his professional reputation. I heard through the family grapevine that he blamed me, told people I'd destroyed his career with lies. But his former colleagues had seen the evidence packets. They knew the truth. Mom's real estate career collapsed slowly, then all at once. Her clients started choosing other agents. Her listings sat on the market longer. Her colleagues at the brokerage stopped inviting her to networking events. Someone had shared the wedding video in the local real estate Facebook group. 40,000 members saw my speech, saw the numbers, saw Mom's face when I said them. Her annual income dropped 63% in 6 months. She tried to blame the market, the economy, bad timing. But everyone knew. Vanessa's marriage survived, but barely. Derek's mother, who'd texted me after the wedding, apparently had strong words with her son. Asked him if he knew what kind of family he'd married into. Suggested postponing the honeymoon until things settled down. They went to Greece anyway. Came back 2 weeks later to find their wedding photos. Had comments disabled on Instagram. Too many people asking about that speech. Vanessa blocked me on everything. Facebook, Instagram, phone number, email, complete digital erasure. I didn't mind. We'd never really been sisters, just competitors in a game where she always won, and I always lost. Now the game was over. The extended family split cleanly down the middle. Team Cass, Cousin Riley, Grandma, Aunt Diane, Uncle Mark, Mom's sister Karen, who'd finally seen the light, 3 younger cousins, and Dad's younger brother who'd been silent for years but finally spoke up. Team parents, Dad's 2 older brothers, 1 elderly aunt, Mom's oldest sister who didn't want to get involved, and 2 cousins who valued family peace over family truth. The silent middle. About half the extended family stopped attending gatherings entirely, didn't pick a side, just quietly removed themselves from the drama. Thanksgiving was revealing. Riley hosted an alternative Thanksgiving at her apartment. 12 people showed up. Team Cass plus partners and kids. We ate potluck dishes and played board games, and nobody mentioned my parents once. I heard later that Mom and Dad had Thanksgiving at home with Vanessa, Derek, and 3 family members. Quiet. Tense. Nothing like the loud family gatherings we'd grown up with. Christmas was similar. 2 separate celebrations. 2 separate families. The fracture was permanent. Grandma made her position clear in December. She updated her will. Riley and I received copies. Linda and Robert Mitchell were removed as executors. I was named co-executor with Riley. The will included a clause. Due to documented patterns of unequal financial treatment during my lifetime, I direct that any remaining assets be distributed with consideration for prior gifts given to Vanessa Marie Mitchell. Cassandra has received significantly less familial financial support, and this imbalance should be rectified in estate distribution. Legal protection. From beyond the grave. When I called to thank her, Grandma's response was simple. I'm correcting what I should have corrected 30 years ago. I enabled their favoritism by staying silent. I won't make that mistake twice. The viral video brought unexpected allies. A woman named Dr. Sarah Chen, a family therapist in California, reached out via email. She'd seen the wedding video and wanted permission to use my story, anonymized, in her research on family financial abuse and scapegoat dynamics. I said yes. She sent me her published paper 6 months later. My story was case study #7. The conclusion noted, financial favoritism of this magnitude constitutes psychological abuse, particularly when paired with gaslighting about resource availability. The subject's decision to expose the disparity publicly, while socially unconventional, was a rational response to systemic family dysfunction. Rational, not dramatic, not overreacting. Rational. I cried reading that. 3 separate podcasts reached out asking to interview me. I declined 2. Accepted one, a show about family estrangement and healing. The episode aired in March. 50,000 downloads in the first week. I received 400 emails from listeners sharing similar stories. Children who'd been financially erased while siblings received everything. Adults still carrying the weight of parental favoritism. One woman wrote, I thought I was crazy. I thought I was selfish for noticing. Your speech gave me permission to trust my own math. Thank you. I started a private Facebook group. Financial Favoritism Survivors. Within 3 months, it had 8,000 members. People sharing their stories, their spreadsheets, their evidence. I'd accidentally started a movement, but truth wasn't free. My parents never apologized, never acknowledged what they'd done. Never reached out except through lawyers and third-party family members asking me to make peace. I sent a formal no-contact letter in November. Certified mail. Return receipt requested. Robert and Linda Mitchell. I am formally requesting no further contact from either of you through any means phone, email, text, social media, third-party intermediaries, or in-person interaction. This decision is final. Any attempts to contact me after receiving this letter will be documented and may result in legal action, including restraining orders. Cassandra Mitchell. They received it November 18th. Signed for it themselves. They didn't contact me again. But I heard through Riley that Mom told people I was mentally unstable and needed professional help. That Dad claimed I'd always been jealous of Vanessa and finally snapped. The narrative they needed to believe to avoid accountability. I didn't fight it. Their delusion wasn't my responsibility. I'd told the truth. They could do whatever they wanted with it. 3 years have passed since that October afternoon. I'm sitting in my home office now, the house Jenna and I bought 18 months ago. Small, 3-bedroom in a quiet neighborhood, nothing fancy, but ours. We saved the down payment ourselves, 15%. Took 2 years of aggressive budgeting and side hustles, but we did it. No parental help, no gifts, just us. The day we closed, Jenna opened a bottle of champagne in the empty living room and said, "Everything in this house is ours. Nobody can take it from us. Nobody gets to say they gave it to us." We drank champagne on the floor and felt like we'd won the lottery. The numbers tell the story of healing. My student loans. Paid down from $62,000 to $24,000. Aggressive payments every month. Should be clear in 3 more years. Credit score, 781. Up from 702. Excellent range now. Emergency fund, $22,000. Could cover 6 months of expenses. First time in my life I've felt financially secure. Career. Promoted to Director of Strategic Marketing. Salary jumped to $103,000. Plus bonus potential. I still do consulting work on weekends. Brings in about $15,000 annually. But now it's by choice, not necessity. Retirement account. Actually exists now. $47,000 saved. I'm 31 years old and finally have a 401k that's more than 4 figures. The financial stability my parents never gave me, I built it myself. And it feels better than any gift could have. Jenna and I celebrated our 3rd wedding anniversary last month. We took a road trip to Vermont, stayed in a bed and breakfast, spent 3 days hiking and eating maple everything and not checking our phones. Total cost, $1,200. Saved over 6 months, budgeted carefully, worth every penny. Our marriage is solid, strong, built on honesty and partnership, and the shared understanding that we only have each other. We're enough. We do couples therapy twice a month, not because anything's wrong, because we want to stay ahead of problems. We watched my parents avoid communication for 30 years and let resentment fester. We're not repeating that pattern. Individual therapy too. I see Dr. Monica Rodriguez every other week. We've spent 3 years unpacking childhood favoritism, processing the family fracture, rebuilding my sense of self-worth outside parental approval. She told me recently, "You've done the hardest work. You've grieved the parents you needed and accepted the parents you had. That's courage." I don't always feel courageous, but I feel free. Riley is my best friend now. We talk almost daily. She got engaged last year, asked me to be her maid of honor. The wedding's in June. I'm planning her bachelorette party, wine tasting, spa day, nothing over the top. Just time with people who love her. She asked if I was worried about planning another wedding after what happened at Vanessa's. I laughed. "Riley, your wedding is going to be about love, not about proving anything. There's nothing to worry about. Grandma comes for dinner once a month. She's 83 now, sharp as ever. She and Jenna have bonded over true crime podcasts and crossword puzzles. Last month she told me, 'I'm proud of you, Cassandra.' Not for the speech, though, that took guts, but for building a life without them. That's the real victory. Uncle Mark and Aunt Diane host holidays. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, 12 to 15 people each time. Team Cass plus partners and kids. It's smaller than the family gatherings I grew up with. Quieter, but healthier. No passive aggression. No comparisons. No golden children and scapegoats. Just people who chose to show up for each other. That's what family should be. Financial Favoritism Survivors has grown to 23,000 members now. I'm not the main moderator anymore, handed that to 3 volunteers who have more time, but I still post occasionally, answer questions, share resources. Last week, a woman posted asking if she was overreacting to her parents spending $85,000 on her brother's wedding and $0 on hers. The responses were immediate, validating, supportive. Someone linked my wedding speech video, it's still on YouTube, reposted by a dozen channels, 4 million views now. The woman messaged me privately. I've been gaslighting myself for years, telling myself I'm too sensitive. But seeing your numbers, seeing your evidence, I'm not crazy. The math is real. Thank you. I replied. You're not crazy. You're not overreacting. Trust your math and do what you need to do to protect your peace. I never expected to become an accidental advocate, but if my story helps people trust their own reality, it was worth it. We haven't spoken in 3 years. Not a single word. Not through intermediaries. Not at family events we no longer share. Complete silence. I heard through Riley that they downsized houses, sold the refinanced property at a loss, moved to a smaller condo outside the city. Dad's consulting business never took off. He does contract work occasionally, makes maybe $45,000 a year now. Mom's real estate career stabilized at a lower tier. Smaller listings, fewer clients. Annual income around $50,000. They're financially stressed, living on reduced retirement income plus whatever work they can find. The $240,000 they spent on Vanessa's wedding, that was their financial security. They traded their retirement comfort for 1 day of appearances. Vanessa had a baby last year, a daughter. I found out via Facebook a mutual cousin posted congratulations. My parents are heavily involved grandparents, apparently. Babysitting multiple times a week, financially supporting Vanessa's new parenthood. Still investing in the golden child. I feel nothing. No anger, no jealousy. No longing for reconciliation. Just neutral acknowledgement that they're living their lives and I'm living mine and those lives don't intersect. People ask if I'd reconcile if they apologized. Honest answer. I don't know. They haven't apologized, so it's theoretical. But I suspect even if they did, too much damage exists. Too many years of being invisible. Too much evidence that their love was always conditional and unequal. Some relationships can't be repaired, only mourned and released. I've done both. People tell me I'm brave. I don't feel brave. I feel like I survived. Surviving looks like building a budget and sticking to it, going to therapy, setting boundaries, saying no, building a life from scratch without the foundation I should have been given. Sometimes I wonder what I could have achieved if my parents had invested in me the way they invested in Vanessa, if they'd paid my tuition, given me a car, helped with down payments, if I hadn't spent my 20s drowning in student loans and working 3 jobs and watching every dollar. But then I look at what I built anyway. The career I earned, the marriage I chose, the house we saved for, the financial stability I created from nothing. Vanessa got everything handed to her. I built everything myself. And I know which one feels better. Vanessa's life looks perfect on Instagram. Beautiful house, cute baby, seemingly stable marriage. But she's never had to prove she could survive without them. She's never had to build something from scratch. She's 32 years old and doesn't know if she's capable without parental funding. I know I'm capable. I have the receipts. The wedding speech wasn't revenge. It was a mirror. I held up the truth and said, "Look, this is what you did. This is who you are. I'm not carrying your shame anymore. They chose to look away, to blame me, to rewrite history. That's their burden now, not mine. Last week, Jenna and I started talking about kids. Not immediately. In a few years. When the student loans are paid off and we have more financial cushion. But the conversation itself felt significant. Because I'm not afraid of becoming a parent. I'm not afraid of repeating my parents' mistakes. I know exactly what not to do. I know what it feels like to be the child who doesn't matter, the one whose achievements go unnoticed, the one who's told to be independent while watching another child receive everything. I will never make my child feel that way. If we have multiple kids, they'll be treated equally, not just in theory. Equal college funds, equal wedding funds, equal love, equal attention. Because I know the damage inequality causes. And I refuse to pass that trauma forward. Dr. Rodriguez told me that's healing. Breaking generational patterns isn't passive, it's active, deliberate. You're choosing differently. I am choosing differently. Every day. In every decision. 3 years ago, I stood in a crystal ballroom wearing a red dress and told 287 people the truth about my family. The video went viral. 4 million views. National podcast interviews. A research paper. A Facebook group with thousands of members. But the most important audience wasn't online. It was me. For 27 years, I'd accepted their narrative. That I was independent, self-sufficient, that I didn't need help. But I wasn't independent by choice. I was abandoned by design. The speech wasn't about exposing them to others. It was about refusing to lie to myself anymore. I told the truth out loud. Made it real. Made it witnessed. And in doing that, I gave myself permission to stop pretending. My parents made their choice 3 decades ago. They chose Vanessa. Chose appearances. Chose money over relationship. I've made my choice now. I choose honesty. I choose boundaries. I choose peace over family obligation. Some people will say, I went too far, that I should have handled it privately, that family matters should stay family matters. But family matters stayed private for 30 years, and that privacy only protected the people causing harm. I don't regret the speech. Not for a second. I regret that it was necessary. I regret that my parents created a situation where public exposure was the only way to be heard. But the speech itself? Standing up? Showing the receipts? That was freedom. My parents don't love me the way I needed to be loved. Maybe they never could. Maybe Vanessa's existence made me invisible from the start. I'll never know. But I know this. I don't need their love anymore. I have Jenna. I have Riley and Grandma and Team Cass. I have chosen family who show up consistently and treat me like I matter. I have myself, the woman I built without their help, the woman who survived their neglect and became strong anyway. That's enough. More than enough. So if you're reading this, if you're living in a family where the math doesn't add up, where one child gets everything and you get explanations, I want you to know, you're not overreacting. You're not too sensitive. You're not asking for too much. The math is real. Your hurt is valid. Your anger is justified. And you deserve better. Whether you expose them publicly or walk away quietly, or stay and set boundaries, whatever you choose, you deserve to be seen. You deserve to matter. And if your family can't see that, find people who can. Build your own foundation. Create your own family. Trust your own math. The truth will set you free. Even if it costs you everything. Especially then. Thanks for watching this story on Achiever Betrayed. Family dynamics aren't always fair. Sometimes the patterns run so deep that the only option is exposure or exit. Cassandra chose exposure. She chose truth over peace, evidence over silence. 3 years later, she's built a life her parents never funded and can never take away. If this story resonated with you, if you've experienced financial favoritism or family scapegoating, know that you're not alone. Your math matters. Your truth matters. This is Achiever Betrayed, where we share stories of those who achieved despite betrayal, who built themselves up after being torn down, who chose honesty when silence was easier. If you connected with Cassandra's journey, leave a comment sharing your thoughts. And remember, some bridges are worth burning if they only lead you back to people who never valued you in the first place. Stay strong, trust your truth, and never let anyone tell you that their mistreatment of you was your misunderstanding. This is Achiever Betrayed. Thanks for listening.